Hello, guys and girls. This is Willow Plays What Ifs here, and I'm back with another What If series for you. And let me start this video with a I love you all my subscribers. Don't you ever doubt that. And I haven't been as active with my how should I say, my channel as of late. I am going to start putting out how do I say, subscriber goals and like goals again on videos. I'm gonna try to be more active again with my What If channel, and I will be as active as well on my live streams as well. So make sure to watch that. And I do have a What If schedule at the moment. And for me to tell you all, let me show y'all real quick. I have number one, which I'm doing right now. What if Deku was the Huntsman spider? That is the first what if I'm doing. And the second one on the list will be what if Deku was Venom. Like all of y'all wanted me to continue that series, and as I said, I will continue that series. As I go down the list, the next one after what if Deku was Venom will be number three. What if Deku was Cruella de Vil? There's a lot of y'all that want me to make that, and I will make a part zero of that what if. Now continuing down to number four, I'm gonna go back to what if Deku was Venom again. Bring another part out of that. That will be part two, because I only had a part zero, the prologue. Then the number two would be what if Deku was Venom. So that would be part one, and then I'm at part two. Okay. After number four, what if Deku was Venom, I go to number five. What if Deku was Neo, the remake of that series. I did a how do I say, a poll on my how do I say, community tab on if y'all wanted me to remake the Neo series or if y'all wanted me to continue it. And most of y'all wanted me to remake it. And so here we are. I'm gonna remake Neo, and y'all did not. You only wanted a solo MHA world, and that's what y'all are gonna get. Going down to number six will be what if Deku was Jonah from Jormungand, and that is gonna be quite the interesting series to do. That's what I'm going to say at the moment. And for that series, I will do quite a few parts of it. Will mirror the what's it called, anime of that series, and there will be a lot of parts that I sprinkle on, and I'm going to on that series, the Jonah series, I will make up quite a few laws here and there with the government, because I don't know much of government laws and what goes inside the government. I'm not a government official, so I don't know all the what's and the do's and don'ts of pretty much war. I'm not a military man as well. I'm just going to do my best to make it as realistic as possible on that series. Whenever I brought that idea out, I did not think of the implication of real world stuff like war and all that. So I'm going to do my best on that series. So be wary of that. Number 7. What if Deku was Venom again? Number 8. What if Deku was a Cybertronian? I've wanted to do a Cybertronian Deku for quite a while because I do love Transformers, and y'all wanted me to make it, and so I will make it. But after number 10, I got 2 more series I'm gonna tell you the list of. But after the Cybertronian, what if Deku was a Cybertronian? I will make a Barricade Part 0, because I absolutely love the character of Barricade. That character, that Decepticon is just so fucking cool. I just can't not make it. And yeah, the Cybertronian Deku will be pretty much a Decepticon, and it will be a full-fledged Cybertronian. It won't be the Momo Jobo that I did on what if Deku was Starscream. He won't have the KSI what's it called? Transformium what's it called? Transform mode. If you catch my drift, he will have the old school transform mode. Let's just say. So going on from Cybertronian, number 9. What if Deku was Ruby? I made a. I'm so terribly sorry about that noise. My dog was being a little dick. So now let me continue what I was saying. What if Deku was Ruby? That was number 9 on the list of my what if schedule. This was between 4 what ifs that I wanted to do, and y'all chose me to make what if Deku was Ruby. And this hands down will be a hero what if, because I just can't do Ruby bad. You know, the character of Ruby, I need to do her justice. I just need to do her justice. I can't make her a villain. I can make this as y'all like my dark what ifs. How do I say? I can make her story get dark at times, but all in all, it will be a hero what if. She'll pass through all that and continue being a hero. And I will try to change the story as I go by, because I don't want to the MHA world to be how do I say, the same as every other like what ifer. You know how they just continue it like the story goes on. I'm going to try to have her go to different countries throughout the story. Make the story as, how do I say, thorough and as how do I say, has as much let me think on the word I'm trying to think of. The thing that I'm trying to say is detail, as much detail as possible on the story. So I'm gonna go with that. And number 10. Here is the return of what if Deku was Dabi's twin sister? Bing, bing, bing. That is my list. 1 through 10. The first one is Huntsman, Spider, Venom, Deku, Cruella de Vil, number 3. Number 4, Venom again. Number 5, Neo, Remake. Number 6, Jonah Deku. Number 7, Venom from Deku. Number 8, Cybertronian Deku. Number 9, Ruby Deku. And number 10, Dabi's twin sister Deku. And that is the, what's it called? Ugh. That is the schedule for my what ifs. So, without further ado, let me get out of this intro. Sorry for blabbing on. I love you all. Like, subscribe, give me a comment in the comment section. Click that bell icon if you want any. If you want to see notifications of when I make my videos, right whenever I upload them. And see y'all right after the intro. My monster family.
Sweet dreams are made of screams. Those who lost their minds will disagree. You travel the world on a 70. Everybody's looking for someone, and they found you.
Now we start the story off with a destroyed bridge, with chaos erupting everywhere, as everything seems to be hazing in and out from a person's perspective. As we see Izumi Midoriya, as she's on the ground being soaked with some type of chemical, as we see a bite mark that is pretty large on the side of her neck, as she's spasming right now and starting to foam at the mouth, as her eyes are rolling back, as she silently thinks, how did things get to this point? What the fuck happened? Am I going to die? As we go back to the start of that day, as it has been 2 months and a half since the beginning of the last episode of What If Deku was the Huntsman Spider, as she has had 2 months and a half to get adjusted to America and all the traditions that America has, the way of speaking, the way of the culture. And she is quickly learning the history of New York and America in general, as she's learning quite a bit, as not only has she been getting how do I say, an understanding of America, she has gotten very close to her friends. She has gotten very close to Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and I'm going to say her best friend at the moment is Harry Osborn, as her and Harry Osborn are very tight. Harry took a very good liking to Izumi. He doesn't know why, but ever since meeting Izumi, he feels compelled to be close to her. He feels like he wants to protect this person. He wants to be with this person. He wants to help this person. And he is. as they are pretty much stuck to each other's sides 24/7 basically throughout the day. As we see the beginning of the day as Izumi is in her seat talking to Harry, as you can think of whatever order the class seats are between Harry, Mary Jane, and Peter. As we hear the bell ring, as the teacher comes in and says, "Okay, everyone, you'll have had 30 days to get ready and prepare yourselves for the field trip of Oscorp." As everyone's getting pretty excited to see Oscorp and all the things that it will show them. All the scientific discoveries that Oscorp has had, or their breakthroughs. As everyone starts whispering between each other, as the teacher quiets everyone down pretty quickly as he says, "Okay, in about 30 minutes, everyone is going to get into an orderly line and get into all the school buses." As this year of high school, the year that Izumi and everybody's in, is going on this field trip, as they are first years, if I know correctly. If not, then I'm just going to say they're first years of high school. Yes, they're going to be they're either first years or second years. I don't know which would fit better. I think I'm going to say first years of high school. As the teacher talks about all the rules, do's and don'ts of the school trip to Oscorp, and all the parent certificates or signed signatures on this and that, yada yada. And 30 minutes pass and they start getting into the school buses, as we see Izumi and Harry sit beside each other on the school bus, as beside them on the other side of the bus, right? I'm terribly sorry right now. I'm kind of tired. I'm trying to make this what if. I hope you all enjoy it, and I don't sound too tired that I'm making this what if at the moment. But yeah, as everyone is seated with Mary Jane and Peter Parker across from them on the school bus, as Izumi is sitting near the window while Harry is sitting near the walkway of the school bus. As the school bus starts moving, as Izumi looks outside of the towards the school, as she says bye bye school, as she turns to talk to Harry, as they get into some mundane talks, chats, as Harry asks Izumi, "So Izumi, how has your parents been lately?" it's been a while since I've actually been able to go to your house for a little bit of time. It's been like 2 weeks, I think. As Izumi looks at him as she says, yeah, they're doing okay, about normal, I'm gonna say. They've been at each other's throats lately because of my mom always moving around the furniture. As she can't exactly decide on how she wants things. As Harry just struggles a little bit. As he says, yep, that does sound like Inko Midoriya. As he chuckles. As Izumi asks, so how has your dad been? I've only met him a few times. He seemed like a standoffish type, very businesslike. How does he feel about a school trip coming to Moscorp? As Harry says, well, he is a little annoyed by the paperwork, but besides that, he's pretty alright with it. As he says, the old man it's just that he's a workaholic. That's what I'm going to say. You know how he is as well from the few times that you've seen him and how I talk about him so much. As Izumi nods, saying, yes, your dad does seem like a workaholic. As she says, so after the field trip, want to chill out, go to a, how do I say, go to a diner or something, probably get a burger or some milkshakes. As Harry says, yeah, that sounds pretty well. That sounds pretty good to me. As he looks at Harry and Mary Jane as they're talking as well on their side of the school bus, as he gets their attention as he snaps towards Peter, as he says, hey Peter, after the school, after the field trip, want to come with you and Mary Jane, want to come with me and Izumi to the to a diner, eat some burgers, fries, get some milkshakes, whatever you like. It will be on me, he says. As we see Peter, as he says, as he looks at Harry and he looks back at Mary Jane, as he asks her, you want to come? As Mary Jane thinks on it for a second and says, why not? Seems quite interesting to me. It would be nice to go to a diner and get some food. If it's on Harry, of course I'm gonna come, even though it'll be past my curfew. I don't mind getting in trouble a little bit and hang with y'all, Mary Jane says, with a cheeky smile. As Harry says, we're in. No, not Harry. Peter says we're in. Peter says we're in. As Harry says, thought so. As he looks toward Izumi and says that they're in. As she says, that's good. As time passes, as they are in the lobby, if you want to call it that, of, Oscorp. As we see Mr. Connors waiting for them. As we see a man called Dr. Connors. As we see him with a prosthetic leg. as he has a, he's walking on a prosthetic leg, and he has brown hair, um, brownish, yeah, it's more of a brownish yellowish eyes, I'm gonna say, and fair skin with some glasses, wearing a regular white doctor's coat or a scientist coat with a black tie, a, I'm gonna say, a maroonish um, button up shirt with some smart slacks or business slacks and business shoes, smart shoes, black. As he has a notepad, as he names out all the kids that is he is going to show around yeah, showing around Oscorp. As all the kids um, say they're here, yada yada. As he he starts showing the kids what everything is, what this is, what this scientific machine is called, what this machine does, as he shows them all the scientists that is working on a project that has to do with the sun, or how should I say, solar energy. They're doing something that has to do with trying to create something off of that. As he shows out one of the head scientists on that project, as he says, "Hello, Dr. Octavius. How are you doing, good sir?" As Dr. Octavius looks at Dr. Connors as he waves at them and continues back on the project, as he starts telling his men to get this out of the way, unless he wants to kill all of them right here and there. As the man quickly does exactly what he said. As he continues along, as they start getting into the section, a certain section with animals, test subjects, I'd say, as he starts showing them areas of subjective. Connor starts talking about all the things that they have progressed with science so far with animals and insects. As he starts showing them all the animals like monkeys, chimpanzees, even reptilian animals like let's say a lizard, and talking about some other animals like how this animal can stay in the Arctic for this long, how they survive this, that. And penguins, even though they are cute and cuddly, they can be quite the survivalist. As he starts getting into the insect section, as he shows them some insects about here and there, as he starts talking about and showing them some spiders, as he starts showing them live spiders that are in their little environments that's encasing glass, of course. Pretty much like what you would see in kind of like a not a museum but a zoo, if you catch my drift. They have all these animal exhibits for all these animals, like a zoo, like I said. As we see Peter getting close to the case, as he's looking at all the spiders, as he is quite interested in them. The same could be said with Izumi, yes. She gets close to one, as she says, "Hey, Dr. Connors, where is the spider in this case?" As Connors asks her what the name of the spider is. As she says, it is the Huntsman spider. As he says, you probably just don't see it. Huntsman spiders really like being in dark places, dark crevices. It's probably underneath some of its how do I say? It must be under something in that little environment. As Izumi just nods as she looks at it. As she asks, "What have you been doing to do it? To enhance it?" As she asks, "You have enhanced all of these spiders, haven't you?" As Dr. Connors says, "Yes, we have been having these as guinea pigs for a while. We have been wanting to see what it's like to enhance the human biology with spiders for the longest time, but all of it has been failed. But still interesting to work on." As he says that the one that she's looking at, the Huntsman spider, the one that is inside that case, they have enhanced it quite a bit. They have changed its body a little bit. Huntsman spiders don't usually produce silk, where they have made that Huntsman spider be able to produce silk, produce webbing, as you can probably see inside the case. As slowly Izumi does notice it, as she says that's interesting. She knows quite a bit on insects and all that, and she knows that Huntsman spiders cannot produce webbing, which that intrigued her, seeing webbing in the Huntsman spider's little habitat. As Dr. Connor says, we have done quite a bit of things to the Huntsman spider, but we're not going to get into it. Let's continue on with our little showing today. I've been talking about this habitat for a while, so let's move on, Mrs. Izumi. As he continues talking to everyone in the class that's in this area, as they continue along with the how do I say, the showing, I just say. As she looks back on the habitat as one last time and starts walking. As we see something interesting as we see Peter taking pictures of the habitat. We see my bad. We see Peter say something to Mary Jane as she gets in front of Peter as he starts taking pictures of her. As we see something coming down from the ceiling where Peter is at. As we see some webbing coming down in a interesting multicolored spider. As it slowly starts coming down. As we see him continue with taking pictures of Mary Jane. As we see Izumi quickly run into the last photo that he's going to have, as he's right behind Mary Jane, having devil horns, a peace sign pretty much, but it looks like devil horns from the back up, from the front of the picture that Mary Jane has devil horns. As he takes that picture, as we see Mary Jane look back and say, "Really, Izumi? Really?" In a very playful manner. As Izumi just has a playful smile as he says, "Now, that won't be fair if you were the only one that got into the picture. Right, Peter?" As Peter goes back as starts taking pictures again with Izumi in it now. As Izumi starts leaning on Mary Jane's shoulder as she playfully smiles with a peace sign as he starts taking photos of Mary Jane and Izumi together. As we see Peter stop taking photos and looking at the class pretty much out of the habitat area. As he says, "We gotta go. We gotta catch up to everyone." As we see the spider finally land on Peter. As it starts crawling all around on Peter. As Mary Jane and Izumi start walking away, trying to catch up to the class. As we see Peter looking through the photos real quick, seeing what he can do to all of them, seeing what pictures need to go and what pictures can stay. As slowly the spider that crawled on Peter finally got into his wrist and bites him, which took Peter by surprise. As he looked at his wrist and immediately freaking crunched the spider up as the spider fell to the ground. As we see Peter stomp on the ground, making sure that the spider is dead. As he says, "Dang, that hurt." But he waves the pain off real quick. As he goes makes his way towards the edge or toward the class. As a little bit of time passes and we see everyone having lunch, let's say. As they're taking their break, they're having lunch in a certain area of Oscorp where the where the workers usually would take their lunch breaks, as we see Izumi standing on the far end, the more darker area of how do I say, of the lunchroom, as we see her talking with her friends and all that, as she's carrying one of her bag, pretty much her backpack, but it's a one armed backpack. If you catch my drift, one of those one armed ones where you can put your laptop in and all that, pretty much like that. As we see her just sitting, eating lunch, talking to Harry and all of them on the lunch table, as she is just absent-mindedly thinking on different things that she saw in Oscorp that really took her interest in all that. As we see something crawl on the floor from the darker side of the lunchroom, as it is a spider, but this one is quite different from the one that got bit by that bit Harry, not Harry, but Peter, as we see it being more hairy and quite a bit bigger than it. So we see it crawl underneath the table of Izumi and the crew, as it crawls up to the bench and gets into Izumi's bag. As a few minutes later, Izumi gets up, puts her bag on her shoulder, and takes the lunch tray and puts the trash that's on it into the garbage and puts on top of the rack where all the other trays are. As the rest of her crew, pretty much the rest of the trio, or foro if you want to call it that, all the friends pretty much finish their lunch and continue going throughout their day of their fast trip on Oscorp. As time passes and the day ends, as they are into their school buses and they're off back to school and waiting for their parents or whoever to pick them up from school. As time passes and they get to school, and Izumi is waiting outside with her friends. As today, their friends decide to walk beside, or at least Mary Jane and Peter decide to walk home, while Izumi's parents decided that today was the day that they're going to do something. As after their lunch at Oscorp, they had to stop their plans real quick because Izumi got a call. Instead of them all having lunch at the diner they all planned to do, Izumi's parents was going to take her to a family dinner, pretty much. They're going to go out to eat as a family and all that good stuff. As after waiting with Harry for a little bit, as we see Harry's vehicle come up, as Izumi and says their goodbye. They hug as Harry gets into his limousine and drives off. Not just 3 minutes later, Izumi's parents drive up to the driveway, and Izumi gets in the back of the car. As she says hi to her parents, as we see Ingo and Hisashi. As Hisashi asks, "Hey kiddo, how has your school trip been?" As Izumi says, "It was okay. It was fine. Nothing out of the ordinary and all of that." As we see Izumi say, though, besides being not out of the ordinary, it is quite interesting all the things that we saw in Oscorp. As we see her mom, Inko, say something interesting as she says, "Oh, I bet, kiddo. I bet, my little baby. So, how about we go to a steakhouse tonight? Steak sounds wonderful, doesn't it, dear?" As Hisashi says, "Yeah, steak does sound quite wonderful. Still getting used to America's taste, but I really do like the American food that they have. Americans have a really interesting taste of food. I really like their barbecue and country style food a lot." As Izumi just says, "Yeah, that sounds wonderful." As we see them drive off, and they drive towards a bridge. As they pretty much stop pretty much in the middle of a bridge because it is around 4, and there is a lot of people getting off work and getting to places, so it is kind of how do I say, there is pretty much a roadblock, how do I say, there's traffic. Yes, that's the word I'm trying to look for, traffic. As not even a couple minutes of them waiting and nothing really they only got to drive up a few meters up, as traffic is really bad today. As Hisashi's starting to get frustrated as he says, "God damn it. Why the fuck is there have to be traffic on a day like this? It's only Wednesday. What the fuck? It's not even a Monday or a Friday." Well, whatever. As we see something coming fast on the other side of the bridge, coming at the fast pace, as we see something crashing. They hear a huge crash. Then they look ahead and they see a big tanker coming full speed, barreling down the bridge, toward the bridge, as is leaving chaos in its wake. As the tanker pretty much it's destroying everything that's in front of it. As we see a truck moving towards a big truck moving a little bit towards the how do I say, the tanker that's barreling toward the road or the bridge. as the person that is driving it seems to not have noticed. But before they could even realize, it was already too late. The tanker crashed right in front of the big ass truck that was carrying chemicals, some type of interesting chemical, as it is pretty much kind of in front of the Midoriya family, as they are behind a big truck. And this truck was from Oscorp. This is an Oscorp truck carrying some type of chemicals, from what Izumi can see, as her eyes went wide. As during this whole process, Hisashi's trying to back up, as he is doing his best to pretty much back up, but he's pretty much pinned with all the cars behind him, as other people are starting to see the incoming catastrophe, as they are getting out of their vehicles and they're running, as it is full on panicking and chaos at this point, as within 30 seconds, an explosion happened right in front of them, as we see Hisashi, the car that they're in, pretty much start flipping over backwards, making flips in the air after the how do I say, from the explosion, as we see Hisashi get flown from the vehicle, flying over the bridge, as the bridge is pretty tall, I might say, as the way that he fell with shrapnel going into his skin, it doesn't look good for Hisashi to survive. While Ingo, glass, and so much more has scraped her fair skin, as blood is covering her, as an airbag is pretty much pinning her to her seat, as by now, after quite a few flips in the air and glass, she was wearing her seatbelt, but Izumi wasn't wearing a seatbelt, as she flew toward the tanker with chemicals, as once she made impact, her bag made impact with the tanker, or the tanker with chemicals. Let's say the big ass truck with chemicals. The chemicals are pouring out of the tanker at the moment, as with her falling right next to it, the chemicals is falling right on top of Izumi, as it's burning her skin, as she has so many scrapes. She has a broken leg, broken arm, friggin' bones are coming out of her hand, as her face is real messed up, as she's wheezing, as being taking the big ass hit on the tanker really pretty much broke a rib. She's pretty sure, as her face is real messed up, scrapes, blood's coming off of her. Surprisingly, during that whole process, she still had her bag on her, as we see Zoom on the ground, very injured, and having the bag holding the bag for dear life for some reason. Out of everything, she's holding the bag like it is a lifesaver. As right now we see something starting to come out of the bag. As right now Izumi is fading in and out of consciousness. As a big brown, a good sized brown spider starts coming out. As it is very injured right now. As we see it start crawling on top of Izumi. As Izumi starts seeing and feeling something crawling up her. As she starts focusing and sees a big ass spider on top of her. But she can't do nothing because she's so weak and so hurt. As she's terrified as the spider is limping on her. But all she sees is a big spider on top of her as she can't do anything and she thinks she's gonna die. As the injured spider bites onto the side of her neck. As Izumi's eyes went wide. As the spider is biting all of its venom into Izumi, all of its DNA and venom into Izumi. As before you know it, the spider dies after biting Izumi. As we see the bite marks start to accelerate on a very high rate, or at least pretty much puff out and get a little pretty big on a very alarming rate. As Izumi, with the chemicals that is pouring on her in that spider bite, she is spasming right now in unnatural ways. She is screaming. Her skin feels like it is on fire. The inside of her bones feel like is reconstructing as her bones are breaking by itself. As Izumi can do nothing. She's in so much pain that no human should ever go through. As before she knows it, she passes out. As even while her passing out, she still feels like an eternity of pain, even in her sleep or unconscious state. As her body is changing. And even all around her, all her screams of pain and all that has been pretty much muffled out by all the screaming and fire and chaos of the bridge. That was inconsequent of what's going on with everybody else. As everyone else on that bridge is literally screaming. Some are pinned inside their vehicles. A lot of people died. As we see another woman on the other side of the tanker, pretty much having the same liquid being poured on Izumi, being poured on this woman, as she is screaming out in pain before passing out. As the chemical is pretty much pouring into this woman's vehicle. as this tanker is pretty huge. After a few minutes, all the, how do I say, some heroes started to come. The Avengers started to assess the situation and take care of it, while the ambulance, firefighters, paramedics, and cops came into the scene as well. As they found Izumi pretty fast. She wasn't that hard to get to. As whenever they first found her, Izumi was pretty injured. But they noticed something unnatural happening as her body was moving in unnatural ways, pretty much in a quite a scary state, let's just say. As they pretty much picked her up on the stretcher and put her in an ambulance. As they started to get other people to safety. As that's where I'm going to end this episode here. For what if Deku was the Huntsman spider. And yeah, this episode was kind of hard for me to make. The way that I wanted this episode to play out, surprisingly play out how I wanted it to. Even with me pretty much not knowing some words on how I wanted. It took me a second for me to find the words to what I'm trying to say. But it turned out kind of well, I think, in my opinion, this episode. I hope you all liked it. I hope you like, subscribe, give me a comment in the comment section how you felt about this episode and what you think I should do to Izumi's parents. Should Hisashi and Inko live on, or should both of them die? Or should one of them live and one of them die? I feel like it would be interesting if one of them lost their memories while the other one died. It would be an interesting dynamic if I think Hisashi died and Inko lost her memories. And from the state of where, how do I say, she was, it would be interesting if she developed some powers, beside the powers that she has already, and turn into a villain. That would be a interesting family dynamic, wouldn't it? But besides that, I hope you all liked this episode. The next video that I make will be what if Deku was Venom. And yeah, that would be quite interesting. So, thank you all for coming. And see you on the next episode that I make. And peace out, my loving Monster family.